everybody, it's Amy. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you're new here, I make bite-sized pieces of content on self-development and psychology to help you become a better version of you. And today, I'd really like to talk about the topic of decisions. I feel like decisions and choices are such a big part of our lives, but they can be something that we don't do well or that we avoid altogether. And so I want to share with you 3 ways that you can become better at making decisions and to feel more confident in the decisions that you make, because it's really not a good feeling to make a decision but then feel very doubtful that that was the right decision. So let's first understand the impact of making decisions and why it's important to be good at them. Well, we make decisions every day and many throughout the day, from what to eat in the morning, when to wake up, if you should exercise, if you shouldn't, what you should wear to work, what you should work on, how long you should spend on it. Can you see how many decisions are involved, perhaps just in the first hour or 2 of your day? And the thing is that the more decisions we make, the more that mental energy we need to spend on them adds up, which means that the decisions that we make towards the end of the day might be a lot worse, or decisions that you need to make might not be your most thought out decisions because of all these decisions you've had to make throughout the week or throughout your day. So the mental fatigue from decisions is real, and you want to be able to manage that, because you don't want to look back and think, oh, that was the wrong decision I made. I wasn't as thoughtful as I could have been. And also, you don't want to feel like you don't have faith in your own decisions. My first tip on how to get better at making decisions and to feel more confident in making decisions is to streamline small decisions. So those ones that I mentioned before, like deciding when to wake up, how to exercise, if to exercise, deciding what to eat, what to wear, what to get started working on. These are examples of small decisions that actually don't need to take up as much mental energy as they probably do. So think about it. How can you streamline or make more automatic certain choices in your life? For example, if you wake up and you don't know what to do for exercise, or if you should exercise, plan this. Know what your weekly exercise routine is going to look like, so that when you wake up, this isn't something that you need to expend energy on deciding. You know what it looks like and how to do it, and you just get going. Similarly, for food, there are so many choices around food, but some sort of planning on a Sunday or something like that really helps you to either know exactly what you're going to eat throughout the week, so you don't have to think about what you're going to eat, or even to plan it so you don't even have to think about if I should eat now, if I should cook now. It's already made. It's up to you how you do this. But even just knowing what you're going to eat on certain days makes it a lot easier. And then perhaps even going to the extent of, with the small choice of what should I wear, make a capsule wardrobe, or decide the night before what you're going to wear so that you don't have to expend excess mental energy in the morning. These are just a few examples of ways that you can streamline small choices so that you have more mental energy for the more important choices. My next tip is to actually use a specific method for when you need to make bigger, more impactful decisions, and it's called the decision tree. What happens is you take your decision that you need to make, and we often think of different avenues. So if I say yes to this thing, what will happen? If I say no to this thing, what will happen? If I avoid making a decision at all, what will happen? And this decision tree is a structured way of kind of following through those possibilities. You're going to write the possible decision and all the different outcomes and the consequences and all the different ways that it can go. I think this is really great because it helps to take a lot of that might be happening in your head and going on in circles, put it down in paper, make it a reality, and it might bring some clarity to the decision that you're making and the outcomes of all the possible choices. But also it just takes that weight off of your shoulder because it's no longer all going on in your head. Then my favorite tip or tool to use for making better decisions is the PrOACT approach or model. So PrOACT stands for problem, objective, alternatives, consequences, and trade-off. You start with your problem. So what is your decision? What is this decision that you need to make? Get clear on that. Sometimes that's helpful in and of itself. The next is objective. What would you like to get out of this decision? Like, what is the ideal outcome you'd like to achieve? Then alternatives. What are the possible things that you could do? This is like a brainstorming exploratory phase. You can think of multiple things that you could try out and do. And then once you've got your alternatives, think of the consequences of each. It's very likely life isn't black and white. Going one route will mean that there's certain consequences, and going another might mean that there's other consequences. So get clear on those and write them all down and understand what those consequences actually are. And then the last one is trade-offs. To any route that you go down, there's probably going to have to be sacrifices that you need to make, but some you might be more willing than others. There are certain consequences that are easier for you to accept versus others. So make that very intentional. Look at all the consequences and then be real with yourself as to which ones you are actually willing to put up with and which ones aren't. There are always consequences. There's no perfect decision. There's the one that you go with. But by going through this process, you're able to look at the consequences and have a lot more peace within yourself that you were intentional about being willing to trade off that one thing because the outcome or the objective is really worth it. It's very hard to realize a certain consequence down the line that you weren't willing to trade off, but maybe you hadn't done the thinking before. So this really helps with that. So there you have it, some super practical ways that you can get better at making good decisions or feeling more confident in the decisions that you make. Just to recap, the first tip was to actually look at all the small decisions that you need to make and see how you can make some of them automatic so that you can save the much needed mental energy for decisions that have a bigger impact. And then the second tip was more of a tool. It's the decision tree. I think this is quite creative and free flowing, so you can write the decision you need to make and all the possible routes and alternatives that could come out of that. And then the third one is my favorite one. It's a bit more structured. It's the PrOACT approach or model that allows you to look at your decision or your problem, think about what you want from it, what is the ideal, look at the alternatives, what are the consequences of the different routes you could take, and what are you willing to actually trade off. And this really helps you narrow down what's best for you. All in all, remember that as much as some of these tools help you explore alternate realities of decisions that you could make, there actually aren't those that exist. There aren't alternate realities that are going on unless you believe in some sort of matrixy thing. There's only the reality that you are living. So at some point, it is really useful to just talk to yourself and tell yourself to accept the decision that you made and understand that it is your reality. It's the only route you are on, and to see what you can do to make the most out of it and to grow from it and to use it to make you better for the next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you found useful and what tool you might use going forward, and maybe what parts of decision making you struggle with more. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it helps me reach more people, and I hope to see you next time.